Welcome to another edition of the Dementia Care Partner Talk Show. Now, here's dementia care expert Teepa Snow and your host, Greg Phelps.
Hello and welcome to the Dementia Care Partner podcast series. Joanne is going to give us a couple of scenarios that care partners may face in the dementia journey.
Where are my mom's glasses? We just bought her new ones before we moved in here.
Or it could be this one.
Where are my dad's hearing aids? Those things cost a lot of money, you know.
So, Teepa, what's going on here? Is someone stealing glasses and hearing aids or even false teeth?
Yeah, no, not so much. This is one of those really difficult situations where we've had a lot of changes in a short period of time. And one of the reasons we made the changes is, well, Joanne, were things working well where you were doing what you were doing before, or was it not working so well?
No, it wasn't working so well.
It wasn't working so well.
No.
And so we decided we needed something to be different. And the something different was we needed new care, typically in a new place.
Right.
And so we've added two new things, a new place and new people. And those people have not been part of the puzzle, and neither has the place. And so now the person whose brain is really struggling to function, was having trouble in the first place, is now got a whole new place to figure out and a whole bunch of new people to figure out. And now that those glasses, were there ever situations when the person was at home that they took the glasses off and laid them down or put them somewhere and then didn't remember where they were, but you found them and gave them back?
Oh, yeah. Every day.
Oh, okay, a lot. Okay, how about that hearing aid? Was the person wearing that a lot before, or was it you had to remind them to put it in and then you would find it and say, you need to put that back in, Dad?
Yeah, I think what happened was they could hear that buzzing and they would take it out of their ear because they couldn't stand it and lay it down and then leave.
Right. So now we're in a place with a lot of different people, including other residents and the person or people who are providing support and care, and the person who's still getting turned around a bit. What's the probability that somehow that thing that was valuable for vision or for hearing might have gotten misplaced?
Very important. That's exactly what happens.
That's exactly what happened. So your thought was the new care team would be able to. Now, I'm curious, when you had the person move in, did you talk a lot about how they were starting to have trouble keeping up with their glasses or their hearing aid, or not? I'm just curious on that.
Oh, I don't think that was in the training session.
There were so many things going on that one may have gotten dropped.
Right.
Or maybe they weren't having that much trouble before, but now they're in a new place and there are new things. So I'm wondering, Joanne, so what am I doing here, Greg? What do you think I'm trying to help with first before we move forward in saying what we should do? What's the first step you think you hear me talking about here?
You're trying to give her some explanation as to what might actually be happening. You're sort of, I think, backing into talking about brain change as well as the fact that they're disoriented in a new location. So it's a combination of both, I think.
Yeah, because what I heard in Joanne's voice concerned me because she has this team that she's working with, and it was hard to manage this beforehand. So she's got a new place and a new team, and she's frustrated. And it is expensive and it is frustrating. But if she goes after a teammate with frustration and some anger, she's more likely to get a defensive reaction or response versus a helpful one. And so what I'm trying to help with is, let's figure this out a little bit before we start doing something, so we maybe could come up with something that might be more helpful versus being perceived as a complainer or somebody who doesn't understand. So I'm trying to figure out, what does Joanne understand about what's going on, and what maybe she's just emotionally distressed about.
So losing my temper, or Joanne losing her temper, might not be a good place to start?
Well, I mean, if you want to let go of it, but if the goal is for the person to continue to get care and for us to figure out how to either get the glasses to stay with the person or figure out whether the hearing aid should be replaced or whether it seems to be working as well as it was, or whatever. If we're going to try to figure this out, I suspect we're going to have to work with somebody because we're not there 24/7. And there's a reason for that.
Where does brain change come into this?
Well, who's having some brain change?
Well, I think both parties in this one.
We have the team who's got a new person in their community, and they're not used to them yet. We've got Joanne, who has lost somebody and is trying to deal with the new community and the person who's living, and we have the person living with dementia who's trying to cope with all these changes. So frankly, I think we got a lot of brain change going on here. And I think it's easy to place the blame one place or the other rather than go, oh, wow, that's a lot of changing. So I'm wondering if we maybe need some really focused strategies to figure out, is it worth it? And I say that quite honestly, is it worth it to keep hunting and finding the glasses? Or is there a time and a place when the glasses are really important? And if there are, how do we deal with that? And the hearing aid, you know, if we're using the hearing aid, is it a brain change for the person living with dementia that's a comprehension or an overwhelmed kind of thing? And that's why the hearing aid is staying out. And so putting it back in without there being some environmental change probably isn't going to result in a good outcome.
So how can somebody who's worn glasses their whole life all of a sudden move to a facility and seem to be functioning without those glasses?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Dementia changes the visual cortex as much as it changes other parts of the brain. And we don't always talk about it. But in fact, I may have had trouble figuring the world out even with my glasses on, and my brain says, well, it's because the glasses aren't working. And so I don't put them on because to me, they're not helping, because what's really going wrong is brain failure. And so my glasses, I'm not reading for content anymore. And so why bother? Because I thought the problem were my glasses. Actually, it's my ability to read for content. So I don't wear glasses because I don't read anymore, but, you know, and I'll say, well, I don't have my glasses. And the real problem is I don't have my ability to comprehend written language anymore.
So would it be somewhat similar for a hearing aid?
Mm. Yeah. So if I don't get what you're saying, then amplifying what I can't understand isn't particularly helpful. As a matter of fact, it's sort of irritating. So, and actually, you know what, it's easier just without it, frankly. And so it's so overwhelming. And so that idea of, could I be in a place in my brain change that these things are not as helpful as they used to be, because what they help, I still don't make use of.
So that puts some more pressure on the care partners at the facility and as you as an individual, relatives, whoever's coming to visit.
Yeah, because we've got to come up with, okay, so how are we going to get our messages across? How is the person going to be able to figure out the menu? How are they going to be able to understand what I'm asking, what they want to go do? And it's like, well, we're going to need some new skills, because the hearing aid and the glasses may not be the options that in the teeth. We may have to look at chewing, because quite frankly, even dentures get to be something that's weird and not helpful anymore.
Well, structural changes. I know that dentists always tell us we have to watch for gum disease. And if you are wearing dentures, your gums may actually be shrinking.
Yeah, and the bone structure underneath as well. And so recognizing these don't fit like they used to, and possibly a new fit, but then those dentures actually hide your oral cavity from texture and taste, and it makes it harder to do those things. And so people actually like to feel the food with their mouth, not with these fake things that we put in there. And so people take them out because they like the feel of the food in their mouth without them. And those things either don't fit or don't feel right.
Teepa, where can somebody get more information on this? Because you've covered a wide variety of topics. You've covered vision, you've covered hearing, you've covered brain change, you've covered relationships. Where can somebody turn to for information on this?
Yeah, we have a number of recorded webinars that address the changes that happen when somebody has dementia, which might be helpful. It also addresses How do you give cues when somebody's no longer able to actually comprehend and hear or hear? And what are some strategies when somebody has some visual shifts that we want to make it possible for them to do as much as possible, but the glasses are just not part of the equation anymore because they just keep taking them off? So we have some webinars. We also have consulting service for free. We have a variety of ways at our website to help people sort of start to wrap their head around and come up with strategies for change.
Teepa, Joanne, thank you very much. It's been an interesting program, and people can look up on the website for more information.
Where are my glasses? Sometimes it's not about dementia.